A brand new Bodyguard sequel is officially in the works. Yes, you heard it right. That good old Kevin Costner classic with Whitney Houston is about to get a sequel more than 30 years later, and we need to talk about it. Apparently, Warner Brothers is developing a follow-up with the Eras Tour director Sam Wrench on board. Yes, the same Sam Wrench who directed Taylor Swift. The Eras Tour concert film is now directing a Kevin Costner classic. I mean, I don't know what to think about it. On the one hand, the Eras Tour movie was fine in my opinion, so no complaints there. On the other hand, filming a movie is very different from filming a music tour, so we won't know what Sam will show us in the end. But with Sam on board, I think we can count on the music and that glamorous spectacle that is a must-have for a movie like The Bodyguard. Because if you remember, the original Bodyguard wasn't just a hit, it was a full-blown cultural phenomenon at the time. If nothing else, it gave us one of the most unforgettable soundtracks of all time. Whitney's version of I Will Always Love You is basically burned into the minds of everyone I know. Plus, the chemistry between her and Kevin was simply unmatched, to the point that a lot of people continued to ship them for years, even after the movie. In fact, everyone's attention was immediately drawn to Kevin when Whitney tragically passed away, knowing full well that this news would absolutely devastate him. Therefore, the new movie needs to live up to a significant legacy and reputation, and I'm hoping Sam can do so. Plus, based on the Eras Tour alone, I feel like Netflix is the most likely candidate to host this movie, which is always an assurance of at least above average quality. That being said, I don't know about you, but I can't ignore this pattern we keep seeing in Hollywood lately. It feels like the only way studios greenlight anything is if it's a reboot, a remake, or a sequel to a beloved classic. Instead of telling new stories or taking chances with new original material, there is a strong desire to draw inspiration from past experiences and familiarity. And while I totally get the appeal, like who wouldn't want to capture the magic of The Bodyguard once again, I also can't help but side-eye it a little. However, please let me know your thoughts on all of these sequels and remakes. Now I bet you're wondering, who could step into Kevin's place and recreate his performance? Well, not going to lie, I question the same thing. So far, no official casting has been announced yet, but a lot of people are rooting for Kevin to reclaim his role in the series. And the reason is not only the fact that Kevin is still very active in Hollywood and would make an amazing lead in such a movie, but also the fact that he was already ready to make a sequel to The Bodyguard. I mean, my guy has been waiting for a sequel for years now. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let me explain. Turns out there was going to be a Bodyguard 2 way back then, right after the original movie, and not just some vague sequel idea floating around. Kevin had an actual script in hand, ready to shoot immediately. The movie was planned, mapped out, and ready to go. But then everything changed. In this second film that Kevin originally planned, Frank Farmer wasn't going to be protecting a pop star this time. Instead, he was set to fly out to Hong Kong to look after a prized racehorse. That's already such a wild shift from the first movie, but stay with me because it gets even crazier. On the flight to Hong Kong, Frank finds himself seated next to an extremely powerful individual while he is simply attending to his work. And that someone is none other than Princess Diana. Yes, you read that correctly. The plan was for Princess Diana to star in The Bodyguard 2. Kevin said it himself during a recent interview on The Howard Stern Show that after The Bodyguard came out, he was introduced to Diana by Sarah Ferguson, who was the Duchess of York at the time. Diana was going through a separation from King Charles at the time, and she was looking for new ways to live her life, one of which was apparently acting. At the time, Kevin pitched her the idea with these words: "I'm going to do Bodyguard 2, and I think I can build this around you. Would you be interested?" And Diana immediately said, yes. She actually stated to him, "My life is about to change." Kevin said that in this version of the story, Diana had broken from the royal family, and while she wouldn't have been the main love interest, there would have been a pretty unforgettable connection between the two characters. Diana even asked him during one of their calls, "Is there going to be a kissing scene?" He asked her if she wanted one, and she said, "Yeah." So, of course, he said, "Then we'll do that." I mean, who would have turned down Diana, am I right? Unfortunately, Kevin stated that he simply could not proceed with the project following her tragic death in the late 1990s. He said, "I could not replace Princess Di." Well, he has always been a loyal man, so I'm not surprised he didn't want to continue with the project afterwards. But now might be a second chance for Kevin to make his dreams come true. During the time of the original movie, Whitney was one of the most popular names in music. So it makes sense that for the second movie, he would partner with one of the most popular names in today's music scene. Of course, the names that come to mind immediately are Beyoncé, Taylor Swift, or even Sabrina Carpenter. But let me know who you would like to see alongside Kevin this time. If things go as planned, the movie is expected to be out in the next couple of years. So cross your fingers. For more weekly updates on Kevin Costner, make sure to like and follow. Meanwhile, the video on the screen might also interest you.